So it is a very, very sunny Sunday here in Surrey, and today's an exciting day. Why? Because we're going to look at a new potential car to buy, and not just any car. This is a car that I've loved for a very, very long time. It's owned by a friend of mine, Dylan, aka the Tool Bandit, and it's a car that I've been nagging him for years to buy from him. So let's jump in the Porsche and let's go and see what it is. So we are in the car, the journey begins. So I'm really, really excited about this one. What can I say? This one's going to take me back to my youth, flicking through those brochures cover to cover from the start to the end, the worst model to the best model, and dreaming of owning them. Today we might make that dream come true. Hi guys, so we've just arrived, and I've got to say the car in the flesh looks even better than I remembered, because I have seen this car before. As I said, it belongs to Dylan, and I sat in this car about 3 years ago and I fell in love with it instantly. It's a car I've always loved, and I think having thought about this more and more, I think you tend to love the cars that you grew up with. So for me, it's always been Mark IV Escorts, Mark V Escorts, Mark VI Escorts, and buying the Mexico really kind of revived my love for the Mark VI Escort. And I toyed with the idea a lot about, do I modify the Mexico? But the reality is the Mexico is just too good as it is. I say good, I use that term loosely because it's not the greatest car in the world, but nostalgia wise I love it, but it was too original to modify. So a lot of people said, why don't you just buy an RS2000? So that's what I did. So here is my new car. So this is my new RS2000, and from the front the Mark VI could have been confused with any car really of the latter shape, from an LX to a Gear to an RS. But for me, this shape is my absolute favourite Escort shape. My mum and dad, as I've talked about in earlier videos, both had Mark VIs, and I love them. This car has been in storage, so it's actually gained the bird poo since we arrived on the bonnet. You're seeing it as I'm seeing it today. So it is a bit grubby. It does need to be cleaned up, it needs to be valeted, but it's a very original car and it's been looked after as well, and I'm going to take you around it and show you in a bit more detail. So the car itself is a 1996 State Blue example. We'll climb inside now, and you can see here, covered so far just 66,000 miles, and it is very original. That, however, will need to be changed. This particular car has been owned by Dylan for about 5 years prior to me purchasing it today. The car has been restored partially by Dylan, so the underside has been treated to a full restoration, and any rust or rot has been gotten rid of around 5 years ago, and since then Dylan hasn't really done anything with the car. It's hardly done any miles, and I really wanted a modern retro daily, and buying the Mexico was a great foresight into what that would be like. And do you know what, I've done 1,000 miles in the Mexico, and there's news coming about the Mexico that will probably surprise a few people, but the Mexico, there's news coming. I'll reveal that very, very soon, but this is replacing the Mexico as that car. And I'll be honest, the light's not very good here, so I'm going to get the car home and then I'll give you more of an overview of the car and why I've bought it. So we're now inside. Let's give it a go. So it all seems okay in here. So with the magic of YouTube and social media, we're home. And I'm pleased to say it drove really, really well on the way home. No unexpected surprises, which is always good. Not that I thought they would have, given the fact I have bought this from a friend. The observant among you may have noticed that this is actually an RS2000 4x4, the rarer variant of the Mark VI RS2000. I have read different views that there's either 602 or 499 RS2000 4x4s. I think it does depend upon which country you live in. However, there's only 37 left, making this an incredibly rare car. It's got a four-wheel drive system, very similar, I believe, to the Sierra XR 4x4, using the same transfer box and technology. The engine is a 2-litre 16-valve double overhead cam, specially developed for this car, that was actually initially introduced in the Mark V variant in 1991, with the RS2000 being the first Escort RS since the Escort RS Turbo. This car was the forerunner, effectively, to the Escort Cosworth in the Mark V guise, and was also a rally car itself. This car famously won the RAC British Rally with Gwyndaf Evans in 1996, so this car has true rally pedigree. Let's have a better look inside. So, inside the car, and we've got a much better look here, it featured these Recaro seats with Flow Raven interior. And this is probably one of my favourite Recaros ever to feature in a Ford. I think they look magnificent. And you can see here there's absolutely no wear on the bolster at all, and no wear on the seat. It is like brand new in this car. It features the original period RDS 6000 CD double din, which I believe is very rare. Most of these cars had tape machines. Very Sierra-esque gear knob here, similar to what you'd find in a Sierra Cosworth with lift up reverse, and a multitude of options, whereas my car has one set of fog lights here in the Mexico. This one has two. It's got the white dials, the same as in the Escort Mexico. Sadly no aircon, but we do have a sunroof, which I love, as you'll know from earlier videos. Again, look at this Flow Raven material. So this had Flow Raven, the Escort Mexico had Mistral Raven, which was the same trim as you got in a Fiesta RS 1800. There you go, bit of trivia for you. And the back bench in pretty good order. Coming around and looking at it from the other side, car retains the original Ford mats, accessory options, and again you can just see how clean this interior is from this angle. And it's such a cool place to sit. These seats, the bolsters in here remind me of the old original Sierra Cosworth and Escort RS Turbos, whereas I think the bolsters in the Escort Cosworth are not particularly huggy, and I don't really think the seats in the Escort Cosworth are that good. Controversial point, but that is my view. But you can just see how original this car is. It's a beaut. So, under the bonnet, we've got this 2-litre double overhead cam 16-valve engine. I think this originally was featured in as an 8-valve engine in the Ford Sierra, latterly increased to a 16-valve to feature in this car, but then also made its way into the Ford Galaxy and upgraded to a 2.3. So this is quite a famous engine, but you can see here it's in incredibly good order. The airbox there looks almost like new, and it's a car that's been well looked after, in my opinion. Looking around the car, you can see it retains its original 5-spoke star wheels. These wheels are featured on a multitude of Escorts in the day, including the Gear X as an option, as an upgrade, the RS2000, the SI. My Mexico also features the same wheels, so they are quite common. Under here in the arches, you can see they've all been taken care of and there is no rust or rot. The beautiful teardrop skirts, which I absolutely love. I think they're much better than what you saw on the Mark V when it first came out, albeit the Mark V-B with the smiley grille did feature these side skirts and was the first car of this shape to feature them. This car I touched on earlier is State Blue. What's really, really interesting is, I'm a bit of a buff for these things, so I've got all of the brochures for these cars. State Blue was never listed on the option sheet available on the RS2000. The car is predominantly standard, however does feature this full stainless steel exhaust system from Magnex, which is a great addition, and as anyone will know owns an old Ford, the old exhaust generally look terrible and is likely to be rotten. As I touched on, the car's not been cleaned. It is as I've just collected it. But I'm really pleased with it. I really love it. I think it's going to make a great modern retro daily. As I said, this car takes the place now of my Escort Mexico. So you'll be seeing a lot more of me and my RS2000 in videos coming up. This is a keeper. It's a car that I plan to use daily and just enjoy. I think RS2000s are good news at the moment. They're very affordable still. Under £8,000 buys you a really good one, and you can even get into one for about £3,000. So you tell me another RS out there available that you can buy for that in the market today. I don't think you could, but I'd really appreciate your views on this car. Do you like it? Is it a good buy? Let me know. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.